I want you to picture a really heartbreaking scene. It's pouring rain, and there, sitting entirely alone at this weathered old town bus stop, is a golden retriever named Cooper. Just looking at him sitting there, shivering in the heavy rain, you can practically feel the absolute sorrow radiating from him. Every single time a car passes by, he looks up with this desperate, fading hope. You know, people in the town, they'd whisper about him. They told everyone he was just an animal, that he would eventually forget and just move on. But Cooper wasn't about to forget. No way.
So the crucial point is 400. That is how many days Cooper waited. Over a full year sitting by the side of the road, day in and day out. It absolutely redefines what we think of as patience. You see, this wasn't just a dog getting lost for an afternoon. This was an epic 400-day test of pure endurance. But to really grasp why a dog would put himself through this staggering ordeal, we have to look back at the life he lived before the wait even began.
Which brings us to Section 1, the perfect bond. Before the grueling wait, you see, Cooper wasn't alone. He and an elderly man named Mr. James, well, they were two lonely souls who basically found the perfect family in each other. For 5 beautiful, sunlit years, they were completely inseparable. Picture this tiny, goofy golden retriever puppy playing with an elderly man in the park. Mr. James gently hand-feeding him, giving him these warm hugs. I mean, for half a decade, they were a bonded pair. Where one went, the other was absolutely sure to follow. 5 years of building a solid foundation of absolute unconditional love. And that bond was forged through an unbreakable daily routine. Every single afternoon, as the sun began to cast that gorgeous, warm, golden hour light over their town, they take a walk. At exactly 4 p.m., they would stroll right down to the Old Town bus stop. Mr. James would sit on the bench, unfold his daily newspaper, and read. And Cooper? He'd just curl up, resting his head calmly right on top of Mr. James's shoes, sleeping so peacefully. It was their safe haven, you know, just their perfect little slice of the day. Okay, let's dive into this next part. Section 2, an unforeseen tragedy. Because life is rarely entirely peaceful, right? The warm, golden hour light was just gone. Just like that, those quiet afternoons were over, and the peaceful routine they had so carefully built over 5 years was completely, instantly shattered. The quiet of that cold Tuesday was violently broken. Sirens started wailing through their neighborhood. Flashing red lights bounced off all the houses as an ambulance rushed in. Paramedics hurried inside, and suddenly Mr. James was loaded onto a stretcher and taken away. As the ambulance sped off, Cooper ran. He chased those flashing red lights as fast as his paws could possibly carry him down the street, just sprinting until the vehicle completely disappeared into the distance. You really have to imagine the sheer, absolute confusion going through Cooper's mind right then. He had no way of understanding medical emergencies or hospitals. All he knew, to his very core, was that his best friend was gone. He was just left standing alone on the road. Now, well-meaning neighbors saw all this happening, and they tried to step in. They tried to take Cooper inside their homes just to keep him safe and warm, but Cooper absolutely refused. Every time they brought him in, he would escape. He'd push out the door, totally desperate to find his person. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly what was driving him. Cooper wasn't just acting out of blind habit or confusion. Look at the true definition of loyalty here. Keeping a promise even when it's hard. He had made this silent pact with Mr. James, and he was determined to keep that promise, no matter what it cost him. Which leads us to Section 3, the 400-day ordeal. And guys, this wasn't a short wait. As the days slowly, agonizingly turned into weeks, Cooper's sheer endurance was put to the ultimate test. But despite everything that had happened, his internal clock, it never missed a beat. Every single day, without fail, his body told him it was time. He would walk to that exact same old bus stop at precisely 4 p.m., the very same spot where he used to rest his head on Mr. James's shoes. He sat there through heavy, relentless rain, and as the months dragged on, that rain turned into freezing winter snow, leaving him literally shivering by the bench. Then came the scorching heat of summer. Throughout all these changing seasons, strangers would walk by. They saw his tired eyes, they brought him food. Some even tried to adopt him, to give him a comfortable life indoors. But Cooper, he ignored it all. He wasn't looking for a new family. He was just looking down the road, listening so closely for the familiar sound of his owner's footsteps. And finally, Section 4, the ultimate reunion. Let's move to and see how this builds, because a promise kept with that much devotion rarely goes unanswered. Imagine you are there on that 401st day. A taxi slowly pulls up to the bus stop. The engine cuts out, the door opens, and then a walking stick touches the ground. Suddenly, Cooper's ears perk straight up. He turns his head. Drifting on the air is a scent he hadn't smelled in over a year.
It was him. Mr. James had finally returned from the rehabilitation center. He was healed, and he came straight back to the spot where they used to spend their afternoons. When Mr. James stepped out of that taxi, Cooper let out a sound that was almost like a cry and leapt straight into his arms. It was this overwhelmingly emotional, tearful embrace. Mr. James was weeping, just holding the dog who had completely refused to give up on him.
The moment they locked eyes, it's like all 400 days of cold, heat, rain, and pain just vanished. Cooper didn't merely survive out there on the streets. His unyielding loyalty is what kept his hope alive when literally everyone else said he was just an animal who would eventually forget. This journey proves something so profound. Dogs are not just pets. They're not simply animals we keep in our homes. They are pure love wrapped in fur. Their capacity for devotion, for waiting, and for hoping, honestly, it often exceeds our own.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. We often assume humans hold a monopoly on deep, enduring grief and loyalty. But Cooper's 400-day vigil asks us to reconsider that. If an animal is capable of such an unwavering, time-defying promise, what does that say about the true depth of the minds we share our homes with? Let me know what you think, and hey, what is the name of your furry best friend? Tell us down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me to uncover Cooper's remarkable story. Keep cherishing those unbreakable bonds, and I'll catch you next time.